Good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the S&P 500, being recorded on Tuesday, February the 17th at 2:23 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Um, I'm here on the daily chart, but I'm going to start on the SPX actually today. And so I've just flipped it around just a little bit. And from what I presented over the weekend, that is one of the alternates. And that is that at this level right here, we have all the way up to cycle wave three, all complete, and that we're starting to come down in the first waves of that cycle four. But it just doesn't seem to want to follow through as it should. I mean, we're getting some nice sell-offs, we're getting everything kind of falling into place, but that 6,800 level now has been tested once, twice, three times, and they get it through and they start to drop it. Like today, the low was 67.75. So that's 25 bucks below. And you think, okay, does that really take care of that? No. They turned it, they ran it, and they brought it all the way back. And pretty much, I think, excuse me, pretty much leaves that level, that gamma level in place. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Also, tomorrow, we have a VIX expiration first thing on the opening. So we have the VIX options for February will be expiring, and we'll also be moving out in the futures market, which of course we already have. It's now showing as March. So interesting that while the markets were basically down in down size, so was volatility. And I think that had everything to do with tomorrow's expiration in volatility. So back to the SPX. So I'm looking at this as wave one, minuet wave one. So this is back to where the highs are not in yet. We still have uh, a minuet to, or a minute fifth wave to finish up. We continue to look towards 7,100. We continue, first of all, they need to get successfully above and trade above and stay above 7,000 and up to this point. And in the SPX, not in the ES, but in the SPX, it has been unable to do that. The highest we've gotten is 7,002, right there. Even this one didn't do it. So what my count is here is again A, B, C, B, and then a C for wave one. And what my thought process is because these are so many threes all the way down, that it is going to be a diagonal triangle. So, and then within this diagonal triangle, all of waves one through five will be three-wave structures. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And again, I have right here, I put it back up. Oh, why did I leave it in that color? Well, let me put it in the right color so that it'll make sense to everyone. And so right now, what we have here is the projections for, let's see, let's go there and there. So for minute wave five would be equal to minute wave one at 7150. We have 1.618 up here at 7537. This, they still think there's a possibility. I'm like, yeah, I can't say that there isn't, because again, let's just remember that supposedly on Friday, that's the next window for the Supreme Court to actually make known their decision from the case brought to them about tariffs, the current tariffs. And so if they knock them down, if they say they're illegal, get rid of them, no longer valid, then I think we spike. Excuse me, with the voice today, I'm not sure what's going on, but we spike. I've talked about this before. I think we spike hard, but I think that also could be it. We get up there, it may spend some time up there, but not like we're breaking out. We're just going to keep going on this just joyride up to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. It's like I can give you fib levels, folks, that just keep going up and up and up and up. And that's exactly what they're based on, up and up and up. And they're fib levels that you can associate to what we've already done, but they get very high in how they're multiplied. Like this is the minor degree. Minor degree 5 would be 4.236 times the length of minor wave 1 at 7,478. Now, I wouldn't expect that, but I have others that are even higher. So not necessarily with the minor, but we also have other levels. I think I've taken them all down. Well, there's the next one for the minor, 9112. So you can see even in the minor 5, minor fifth wave. Yeah, I can give you those. And they say, well, that's what I'm expecting. It's like, I don't see how. No, something has to change globally. Something has to change inside the United States. Something has to change with the world order, with what's happening, with the wars, with what's going on. Something would have to change dramatically to favor that type of a rally. Now, could AI create the rally? Sure could. But that just means that AI is taken over against all odds. So right now, I'm just going to stick to what I have. Now, the other side of this would be that that is the high all the way up. And this could be, see, it gets a little bit more difficult, but it could be wave 1, wave 2. So pretty high, but it could be a wave 2, and we're coming down. I can count 5 down to this level, maybe a little bit more. And it's sloppy, but it could be one of 3. 1, 2, one of 3, 2 of 3, and then we just fall off the cliff. So that would go with, okay, we're all done, and now we're just going to continue to build into that initial, right? So remember, if we're in cycle wave 4, it's going to consist of an ABC of primary degree. Primary wave A would then consist of either 5 waves of intermediate degree to form primary wave A, or an ABC of intermediate degree to form primary wave A. Either way, we're looking for, again, these patterns. Most often at a size, atop this size, I am going to be looking for 5 waves down on the daily to give me, okay, I've got some confirmation. We are on our way in this next larger corrective phase. And so what I do as well, and I think I've talked about this as well, so maybe I'll just review it now. When I'm looking at these moves, I go to the fourths. When we always are dealing with Elliott, and he tells us that, for finishing a 5-wave structure, that the fourth wave in motion, say if it's a 3, the fourth wave in motion will find its terminus or its endpoint within the fourth wave of 1 lesser degree. So I just go to them for where am I going to find support? Like from here, where should we find at least some stronger support than 6,800? Right now it's 6,800 for whatever the reason. The next one below that is 6,500 or 6,522 according to that low, but down to 6,500. But then you see that this is all in wave 3. So what do we have in terms of support? Not much. We can do it all along here, but it's not going to be strong because we were in a rally phase. So this was corrective, and that's where it stopped. This was corrective, so that's where it stopped. This was corrective, so that's where it stopped. So I go to 4s. All right. So my initial thoughts are that from the high, wherever it's going to be put in, and if it was put in at 7,002, then our first stop within within the primary A wave, and then breaking it down to an intermediate, breaking it down to a minor. These are all, it's because they build on each other, right? But I would think that our first move of any size brings us back to this low. and that's 48.35. We're trading at 68. It's 2,000 points from where we are, plus or minus. So that's a strong drop, but it's just the beginning. And then we go from there. So again, we're looking at a cycle 4. So my first thing is a primary A wave. Within that, intermediate wave A. And then inside that, minor wave A. Minor, minor. Okay. So that's how I work. Others may work a little bit differently, but that's kind of what I'm leaning against. Bringing it back down to that daily. So what can we kind of look for from here? Actually, I can bring it down to that hourly chart. Let's go to the hourly 30-day. All right, so I'm going to open this up so we can see there's the C, there's the A, and right there we also can put what's above it is that wave 1. Then we have an A, and then a B, and it was 1, 2, excuse me, A, B, and then we had the 3, 4, and a 5. And then we have this coming down, and it's a C wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, it was pretty clean, actually, as well. So what do we have here? A, B, C. Could this change? Yep, it can. We can continue to rise, and therefore this could turn 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, 5 of something. So if I have to have an alternate, then I'm saying A, B, C, 2, right? So what this is we're working on the third. We're working on the third under this count. So that's the more bullish picture. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we go. Now, what if wave 2 isn't quite ready yet? Well, we have some more support at 67, 65. That would be for the minuet wave 2. And beyond that, I think I probably could put one more here. Let me just see what I can put together there to there. And you see we got 100% right there at that same level, 67, 68 to 67, 65. And it's just bringing it down a little bit more. I called it because this low is 67.75, and our support for the C wave is at 67.68 to 67.65. So it's like, boy, it came within 7 to 10 points. So that's why I'm kind of calling it. Otherwise, we drop down to 66.27. So can I say that, okay, 6,800's holding, holding, holding. Will it do it again? Well, maybe, but it could get down there and come back before we reopen again tomorrow. Because I want to show you this is all SPX. I'm going to go over to the ES. Same count. Wave 1, A, B. Whoa, wait a minute. You're marking that as the C wave, Michael, over in the cash. But what is this? They don't match. This happened into the close, and I'm sure that it went further because the market continues to trade. It's not like 4 o'clock, the bell rings and everything, the computers get cut off. Takes no more trades because we give another hour. So it continues to trade. And that's what happened here. It continued to sell and then they bought it. So that's the difference. So I would have to, if we are going to not come down and finish this in terms of putting in an additional low below wave A to satisfy the futures market, it would just be a little bit of an extension in the cash market. So we already have those levels a little bit below where they are. But I think we have here 67.54, which pretty much lines up. So I'm like, okay, so if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can see it all happened all together, then we come back down and get back down to here. And maybe they do that before the cash market reopens tomorrow. It's kind of interesting. But here's the other thing. Quite often when we have a volatility expiration, vol will pop, equities go down. I think maybe it's also just set up as it's like, well, this is what they're supposed to do, and everybody goes and allows it to happen. But that's the general thought of after a volatility expiration, because all that vol expires, what happens? Well, vol pops a little bit and the market drops a little bit. And we might get that on tomorrow's opening, where we just come down. So maybe we kind of play around in here and play around in here. And then by tomorrow, we're hanging out still around here. We get that, we go bing, and then bing. That makes total sense to me. And that's something that I could walk in and look at and say, yep, that's what's happened. Otherwise, I'm going to have to put the 3 up here, the 4 up here. And this actually does count as 5 down to here and allow the differential, right? Because if we don't get that move and the SPX and the ES both just start and just climb overnight and SPX gaps higher, we're not going to get that move. So that does not mean, because in the SPX, I can already complete it. It looks beautiful. It's like a big old flat. And this one, no, I have a little bit of a difference and I understand why, but I still can do it and just call it a failure. A fifth wave failure within the C wave, but still done, put a wave 2 on it. And that would have to be confirmed by we don't go down anymore. This was just a little bit of adjusting right into the bell, and then bing, 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 bing. We just start going up. Now, I'm kind of looking at some of the things to see where they're coming in. Apple's continuing to go up. Tesla, doing nothing. Nvidia, up another 50 or 60 cents. Meta, look at Meta. So where do we think this is going to go? Look at Meta, 645. Microsoft, unchanged. But Meta getting bid up. Yeah, they're all in there. Broadcom coming down a little bit. Amazon, yeah, unchanged. AMD taking it on the chin. Don't ask me. This and this aren't matching, and they're kissing cousins. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But it looks like we should have, when Globex begins, it should pop. I think we get a higher opening. But we'll see. So let's take a quick review of what we have coming tomorrow for economic data. On Wednesday, excuse me, we have housing starts, which is the delayed report, building permits, which is all part of the delayed report. Those are both for November. Housing starts again, delayed report for December. And why is that saying that that's the actual? Hold on, something's not fishy here. Period actual. Did we get housing starts for December already? Because it's showing us that it's actually come out. That would be interesting. I have it as being reported at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Building permits along with. And then we have durable goods orders, the delayed report for December. And we have industrial production for January and capacity utilization for January and the minutes of the Fed meeting coming out at 2 p.m. So 8:30, 9:15, and then 2 p.m. So we do have some. Thursday, we get a little bit more. A lot of catch up to do. And then on Friday, we have PCE plus GDP. So we got some good stuff to build up into. Let's see what happens. And then gamma levels, they did come into play again today. I'm going to be interested to see what actually gets kicked into gear tomorrow. and see if there's any adjustments that are going to be made to the lower levels. Filling in what we have from 6,800, the next one down to 6,000. It's all kind of really sketchy. So I'd like to see that to kind of infill. So I'll be updating those on the morning update tomorrow. And in fact, that will be the next update will be tomorrow morning.